All right, good morning. I want to welcome everyone here today. Um, I'm fortunate in life, I get to wear a few hats. I obviously serve as chair of the Board of Supervisors, and something we spend a lot of time thinking and working about is taking care of our foster kids. These are kids who, through no fault of their own, have endured tremendous hardship and great difficulty. And when they come into our system, we feel a great sense of obligation and a great responsibility to do everything we can to give them love and support and encouragement, trauma-informed care, but everything we can to try and help set them up for a wonderful, fulfilled life. I know as a parent, we all want that for all of our kids, but we want that not just for our own kids, we want that for every kid. Because if any kid out there is not having the opportunity for success, that impacts all of them, whether it's our kid or not. And so we work incredibly hard in that role to fulfill that responsibility. And then as chair of MTS, we think about how do we move people? How do we connect people? How do we get you from where you are to where you want to go, or where you are to where you need to be? And today we're here to talk about how those two opportunities merge together. And I'm so excited at MTS to be able to announce this important effort and important program to provide transit passes and opportunities to foster youth when they age out of foster care. Even though they may not be in the foster care system anymore, we know that they still need help and assistance. And this at no cost pass could be the thing that helps get them to work, or to a medical appointment, or to see their friends, or go out and have a good time with someone. And so we're really excited to be here, both MTS, our friends at North County Transit District, NCTD, in partnership with so many folks who are here, and you'll hear in a minute, but I want to thank Council President Shanilo Rivera, someone who worked for years before he came on the board of MTS or the City Council on issues of Youth Opportunity Pass, on issues of helping our foster kids and doing more, and he brought that same spirit to get in a position to actually get it done. And Shanilo has shown tremendous leadership and is a part of the reason why we're here today, and we appreciate you, Council President, for what you're doing. I want to thank Kim Giardino, you're going to hear from in a minute, our Director of Child Welfare Services of the County of San Diego. I have the honor of working daily with Kim, and we have completely revamped our entire approach to foster care, implementing 88 recommendations from an outside group, adding social workers and care and help and assistance. And Kim, we appreciate everything that you're doing. I want to say a special welcome to Victoria Martinez, who is here with us today. Victoria is why we're here. A former foster youth who is the most important voice you will hear from today. The most important voice you'll hear from today is Victoria Martinez, talking about why this matters and why it's important. And you'll hear from them in a minute. I want to welcome my good friend Steve Goebel, MTS board member, council member from the city of El Cajon, has been a real champion. Steve asks really good questions. He makes sure what we're doing works, but adds tremendously to what we do as an agency. Steve, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you. Mike Wygant, our MTS Chief Operating Officer. Mike, we're here. Appreciate all of our MTS workers who are a part of this. I want to thank Ariana with Mid-City CAN, who's here, a tremendous organization right over there. They've been fighting and leading and pushing, and we don't always move as fast as you want us to, but we get there eventually, so keep fighting. Of course, my dear friend Delia from Mid-City CAN, who's here behind us. It doesn't matter where I go in City Heights, she's there. Like, it doesn't matter, I can go to the grocery store and she is there doing it. We want to thank Corey Pollant with Promises to Kids. Again, great organization, very involved in helping Courtney with the YMCA. And of course, my good friend Chris Orlando, who's here representing North County Transit District. This is not just MTS. When I speak, I will default to saying MTS because it's my nature. It's not. It is MTS and NCTD helping our foster youth countywide. And so, Chris, we appreciate it, NCTD and the partnership and leadership. So thank you all. So today, Pronto Extend. That's what it's called. It is launching July 1st and will be a critical connection for foster youth to be able to continue to access our system at no cost as they transition into independent living. When they exit the foster care system, they face a harsh reality of losing a whole lot of help and support along the way. The great majority of foster youth who remain in foster care until the end of that age don't have a lot of those natural supports that so many other kids did. And so they've got to find a place to live, a stable job, find a way to get around. And so as we ask ourselves how public transportation can help, just think of that 18-year-old, that 19-year-old who is aging out of the normal foster care situation, and they're trying to get to community college or trying to get to UC San Diego for class, or they're trying to get where they're going for work or a medical appointment, and the odds are stacked against them across the board. The number of folks who age out of foster care who become homeless is astonishingly high, and it is heartbreaking. And again, that ability to have that connection, we think can be another really important mechanism. So we're thrilled to be here today, again, with NCTD, with Promises to Kid, with Mid-City Can, and with all of our partners. And so very exciting day, and want to help get the word out. So kids who are in this situation know, youth who are in this situation know that this option is available to them. With that, I'd like to kick it to San Diego Council President and MTS board member Sean Elo Rivera, whose vision for Youth Opportunity Pass, and in particular helping foster kids, refugees, other folks, has really been the impetus and drive behind why we're here today. Sean, we appreciate all your work and we welcome you.
Thank you, Chair Fletcher. Thank you for your leadership at MTS and on the County Board of Supervisors. I appreciate you all being here today. Again, my name is Sean Elo Rivera. I'm proud to serve as San Diego City Council President and as a member of the MTS Board of Directors. This is a really, really good day, and I'm extremely excited to be here. This pilot program, Pronto Extend, is going to provide no-cost transit passes to foster youth between 18 and 24 years old. And let's talk about why that's important. And Chair Fletcher started to do this. I think that the highest form of a community is one where we act as a family, where we love each other as if we are all family. And even if that's hard and we don't always agree, we have that sense of love for one another. Unfortunately, as we know, that is not the case right now. We see that playing out in the way politics sound and feel, but even more importantly, we see it on the impact of our community members. And nobody is more impacted by the lack of familial love that we have for our broader community than foster youth. I had the incredible good fortune of working with young people prior to being elected to City Council. And the most impactful stories that I heard were those from foster youth. It made me realize that even in my toughest moments growing up, when things were really hard for my family, I still had an incredible advantage and privilege in comparison to the young people who were sharing their stories of being foster youth. So for any of us who have not been in the foster system, if we can just for a moment think about what it would be like to be 18 and to not be able to rely on your parents to help you find a house or to get to and from where you need to go, to make critical decisions. It's tough. And the really, really difficult challenges that are facing our foster youth play themselves out or show themselves in the data across the board, but especially with homelessness. As Chair Fletcher was mentioning, we know that 1 in 4 foster youth nationally will fall into homelessness. Let's reflect on that for a second. 1 in 4 foster youth nationally will eventually fall into homelessness. We know that about half of the people that we see living in homelessness across the country were at one point in the foster system. We are failing young people who go through the foster system. Fortunately, we're starting to make some changes. And I want to give Chair Fletcher some credit on this, because I know that as soon as you were elected, I think a month or two in, I went to a meeting where you heard those 88 recommendations. And they were brought forward, most importantly, by foster youth. And immediately, Chair Fletcher started to take action. So the county is doing a better job, and now there's a responsibility for those of us across the board, whether that's at the City of San Diego or at MTS, to wrap our arms around our foster youth and provide them that love that we can as a community. And I think that we're going to do this with this program. As was mentioned, this is going to provide young people an opportunity to access education, to access jobs, to access simple, fun activities that they might otherwise not be able to get to. Without these passes, our foster youth between 18 and 24 would have to spend nearly $900 annually out of their budgets to get around our region via public transportation. And we know that that was just too much for way too many young people. And if it wasn't a burden for them, it was also a burden for the service providers who work so hard to support our foster youth. Time and again, I heard from organizations who put their all into supporting foster youth say that transportation is one of the biggest costs that they face, and taking that off their plates would allow them to provide more youth with housing, with food, with support. So this is a win in many, many directions. I want to make sure I thank Just in Time for Foster Youth, Your Safe Place, and Children Legal Services for your advocacy and for providing support to our foster youth in our region. Lastly, I want to make sure that I thank the foster youth who are present today. Victoria, as was mentioned, this is for you. And I hope that you see this as what it's meant to be, and that's as a gesture of love from our community to you and all foster youth. I want you to know that we love you. You are our family. You are our sisters, our brothers, our sons, and our daughters in just the same way that anyone else would be. And so thank you for being here. Thank you for your leadership. And with that, I will close and toss it to Chris Orlando, Chief of Planning and Communications for NCTD. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm very pleased to be here on behalf of the NCTD Board of Directors and our board chair, Councilwoman Jewel Edson, who was unable to be here this morning, so thank you for having me. When the region was working together on no-cost transit for youth, one of the areas that was identified that we needed to do more was foster youth. We recognized that the need for transit for foster youth didn't end at age 18, so we needed to do more. So when MTS came to us and said, hey, we want to stand up a program for foster youth through age 24, and we want to do it by July 1st. We thought for a second and we said, okay, let's do it. So we're very pleased to be here today announcing the program. As you've heard, it'll make a huge difference for folks who've come through the foster care program. Very pleased yesterday that our board supported this program unanimously and voted to launch it, and really excited to get it underway. We encourage youth who qualify to apply now. You can apply at the NTS website. You can go to the NCTD website and get information on how to apply. You can go to the MTS Transit Store to apply. We want you to be able to take full advantage of this program. So encourage you to apply so that you can have your transit pass for July 1st when the program starts. On behalf of NCTD, I want to thank MTS for their leadership on this. I want to thank Supervisor Fletcher and Council President Elo Rivera for their strong support and leadership on this issue. This is something very important for our county's youth. That's why we came together as a region to get it done. So very pleased to be here. Again, I encourage youth who qualify to take full advantage of this program and to apply now and get your pass by July 1st. It'll open a world of opportunity for you and be a strong support for your journey to independent living. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Next, we want to welcome Dr. Kimberly Giardina. She's the Director of Child Welfare Services for the County of San Diego Health and Human Services Agency.
Good morning. First, let me just start by thanking Chair Fletcher, Councilmember Elo Rivera, MTS, and NCTD for initiating and collaborating with us to make this extraordinary new program for our foster youth. The Pronto Extend program aligns perfectly with our county's general management system and our new strategic initiatives that focus on putting community at the center so that we can create well-being for all of our residents. Child Welfare Services is dedicated to helping youth transition out of foster care and into successful adulthood. Free transit passes for buses, trolley, coaster, and sprinter are an essential resource for eligible youth, those who have exited foster care and are ages 18 to 24. Like any youth transitioning into adulthood, as many have said, our foster youth face extraordinary barriers, and reliable and affordable transportation can really help overcome many of those challenges. They will be able to visit their family and friends and do fun things in our county, and after these last few years of the pandemic, we all know how important that social connection can be. In addition, as mentioned, getting to work, job interviews, physical and mental health appointments are all essential for our youth. I want to thank MTS and NCTD for partnering with us to help spread the word about this program. We absolutely do want your help so that all of our foster youth will know that they're eligible for this program and can reach out to get access to this resource. There are potentially hundreds of youth in our county, so please help us share the word. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce the most important person of the day. Mrs. Victoria Castellanos Martinez is 23 years old and a former foster youth. She's involved with Just in Time for Foster Youth and the mother of 2 daughters. She is a paralegal studies student at Southwestern College. Please help me welcome Victoria.
Thank you, Ms. Kimberly, for that very warm welcome, and thank you everyone for being here today. First, I'd like to thank, from the bottom of my heart, the MTS Board of Directors and the team for choosing to support the former foster youth community by providing these transport passes to Just in Time. As someone said, victory is a beautiful, bright colored flower. Transportation is a stem without which it could never have blossomed. I know for myself, this transit pass represents freedom and responsibility. Starting from the age of 18, I've used public transportation for everyday things such as grocery shopping, doctor's appointments, work search, and furthering my education. Being on public transportation and having the access to doing these things has taught me to be resilient and responsible. Having been a single mother at a young age, as well as a former foster youth, oftentimes I had to choose between buying diapers for my daughter or paying for a transit pass, and that is a very difficult choice to make, especially for someone not receiving support from family. For the former foster youth population, not having access to these types of resources can delay the journey towards self-sufficiency as a productive member of society. I'm glad to be able to witness this collaboration between MTS, Just in Time, and all other former foster youth organizations. I believe that many youth, such as myself, will be able to worry less about how to get from point A to point B in their journey. They can begin to focus on living healthier and happier lives. I know this program will have an extensive impact throughout the next 18 months, but I'm hopeful the support will extend past 2023. I'm excited to see what my community can do while using the support. Transportation, especially for adults transitioning out of the foster youth, is unreliable. While I have been fortunate enough to have achieved my goal of obtaining a vehicle, I recognize that keeping a car maintained in today's economy, aside from the prices of gasoline, can be nearly impossible. I have felt burdened by these expenses, and it is because of this I can sympathize with the need for this transit pass. It fills the gaps during difficult times and alleviates the weight of financial and emotional stress. This is a victory for our community, which will allow us to blossom. Again, I'd like to thank everyone involved for making this resource available for those in need, and for all the hard work you put into making this possible. Thank you.